All right. Welcome to the Above Limits podcast. This is Olympus Mons. We have Sinbad over here, bringing y'all an episode today just to talk about random things that we'd like to discuss. Nothing really too much of importance. I mean, yesterday was the big presidential debate, so of course we got to cover that because it is relevant in talk and discussion. So we got to do that, and you know we're in the season of Halloween and sports, and we're going to talk about some movie trailers too. So how's it going, Sin?
It's going great, Olympus Mons. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. How about that freak show of a circus?
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about the highly anticipated town hall format debate.
Was it anticipated?
I think so. I think people were looking for Trump to bounce back from being on the defense and talking about the things that are hard to talk about.
Is there anything in any statistics you've heard of between the coverage of the first debate and or the people tuning in from the first debate to the second debate?
Yeah, I think the articles that I read explained that a majority of people objectively thought Hillary Clinton won the first debate. The majority view was that she put him on the defense early, and he didn't have immediate answers to.
Hold on. Before you get started, what the fuck are you wearing?
This is the retro Darth Vader tuxedo shirt. You know
That
how they have
looks like a goddamn tuxedo shirt, man.
Well, you know what I mean, right? Like where they print a tuxedo on the shirt. Well, this is the Darth Vader armor printed onto a shirt. The Darth Vader armor just printed onto a shirt. It comes with a cape. That's why they're Velcro attachments. So
oh my god, it comes.
That's how we do it.
It comes with a cape.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that shit's player, man. That shit's fresh. With just when you say it comes with a cape, that's a little too much.
Hey.
Put on the cape. let's look at this, people.
I mean, it's not that big. All right.
You're going to get it.
So you got these
Superman
Velcro attachments, right? Very high tech here. And then it goes onto the two attachments on the back. Felt like a kid again. See the cape. It has to be windy outside for you to get the full 360 with the wind blowing outdoors.
You're 2 steps away from being a brony, dude. No, just playing, man. Just fucking. No, that's cool. I can see it. I can see how you gotten any attention from that. Anybody be like, "Yo, man."
I mean, I went to a studio where there was like the National Neighborhood Night Out or program where the neighbors throw a party or whatnot, and a lot of people commented like, "Oh, where'd you get the shirt? And what do you think about the new movie?" So it does time to time get some heads turned.
I was looking at the games for the VR PlayStation, and they got an X-Wing game. All the games look kind of weak for the VR, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they need to come out with a new console, put all their eggs in a basket, and put out a best shit that they got in 2017, and then introduce the VR. But anyways, let's go back to the debate. I had to interrupt because I noticed that when you're on the full screen, I was like, what the fuck is he wearing? But it is pretty fresh. I was going to make fun of you. I was going to be like, you're wearing a tuxedo shirt, but that's what it's called. So
appreciate it. But the debate was, again, I think Donald Trump bouncing back from being put on the defense constantly, and now for the first time having jabs taken at Hillary. He calls out Bill Clinton. He absolutely goes after Hillary in a sense where if he's president, he's going to have her investigated and possibly jailed. He brought up her email scandal again. There were many things that he did in this town hall format debate that he didn't do the first time around. So the majority viewpoint now is that whatever credit he lost in the last debate, he's gained it back. The only problem was the little, as we talked about in our previous podcast with Phantom, the polls were showing that he did lose some support because of the leaked audio.
Nah, man, I was listening to a lot of conservative talk today, and the majority of callers that I like John Gibson. Have you ever heard of John Gibson? He's funny, you know what I mean, for an old fucker, you know what I mean? And all his callers were pretty much laughing about it, you know what I mean? Just like they liked hearing about her going to jail. I think that's going to be the one thing that adds an advantage over him. They want to see her in jail, dude.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing about it is the way he bounced back in this debate. I'm not saying it fully overrided the audio leak, but what it did do for him is it provided him a way to show his good side, to show what he is good at, to show that he is, he has a good temperament in public. He could hold the job of presidency fine in the way he handled the last debate. The problem I see going forward from this is it going to be this this whole violent type of campaign, smearing, name smearing and libel and slander? Is it going to be this the rest of the way out, or was this the 1-2, the big punches that come out in the middle rounds? No one gets knocked out, but from here on out, they're just going to, just throw jabs here and there, but nothing major. Hopefully, I want to see them take the high road, and for the rest of the campaigns, try to get all the personal stuff, try to get away from using personal attacks.
Now, I'll be open and honest and lose my bias for a second. And we can go back to the main argument that was the main point yesterday, is their dislike for each other, or the mudslinging against each other. That was probably the main focus of most of the debate. But Trump doesn't really have much to say as far as his form. He didn't really have much to say when it comes to the issues. You know what I'm saying? When Hillary Clinton was able to talk, candidly about what people were asking for, I mean, I think she did a better job. But the thing, though, this is how I'm putting it, is that Hillary Clinton's been in office or been in politics for 30 years, as they say. But as of what she's done within the time that she was Secretary of State and Secretary of State and a presidential candidate, it disqualifies her from being in office, and it takes away from any positive things that she was able to accomplish, like the CHIP program, which is a program that gives children insurance.
Yeah, I just I don't see Hillary winning unless she does what she's doing, which is try to focus. When they do focus on the topics, she has like you said, an in-depth analysis and a way of going about explaining what she's going to do. The only thing that I really like about Trump is how he explains economics, how he's going to create jobs, like bring energy back locally, create a booming energy industry within the United States to where it creates more jobs, etc., and be dependent on American energy instead of being crippled by overseas, the Middle East and other countries. So that whole perspective with Donald teaching the entire American public, I felt like an economics lesson when he was up there. I felt like it was digestible. I felt like he could accomplish that. And I felt that Hillary could not accomplish that. I know that Hillary's mind probably would not even focus on something like that. And the funny thing about it is when Hillary Clinton goes up and it's her turn, she'll say something equally intelligent. So it's like, even if Donald Trump comes with it, she's still going to be there because she's already prepared and has all these, like Secretary of State. She has experience in publishing documents that have a blueprint or a plan. And so she knows how to go about taking this and spreading it around, by email, of course, and having other people look at it and revise it, give it back to her. So Trump needs to stay on his toes and do the same.
Hillary, I know that that if she was elected president, that she will have her 8 years, she will have her 4 years or 8 years, and do a perfectly fine job. You know what I'm saying? And I was having a hard time figuring out how to put this, but that's how we could put it, is that she'd be able to do the job and do it sort of well. You know what I'm saying? But she, of course, like I said, she's disqualified herself for being president by her actions that she's done, her negligence, and flat out, both the Clintons are liars. Just the same thing where Bill said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It was oral sex is not sex. Hillary Clinton, I did not know. It's all legal loopholes that she knows what to say. She's very prepped, and they know politics, you know what I'm saying, to save their ass. But to me, if you put Hillary in office, you have more of the same thing. You know what I mean? There is no change. And that's what Michelle Obama's over there still playing on people's fucking, psyches, saying, let's continue this pathway of change with electing Hillary. No, Obama was supposed to be the hope and change president. He didn't change anything. The militarization of the police has gotten worse. We're still fighting conflicts and wars that we shouldn't be even engaged in. He didn't close Guantanamo. His only signature thing is Obamacare, but there was no change. But if you elect Trump into office, there will be change. I mean, if the second and third generation illegal immigrants have to go back to Mexico, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, as fucked up as that may be, you know what I'm saying? That's I mean, it'll fix a lot of the fucking crime problems that we have here.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll let the states decide. The Republican Party, if they win, a lot of the Republican states are the ones that have the problem with Mexican immigrants, illegal immigrants. And so he would leave it up to the states. He would be forced to, because the Republicans that run those states will tell him, it's our way or the highway. But he would endorse them because they're just as extreme as he is in that fight. But I can see what you're saying. He does have some very far-leaning right policies, but compared to Hillary, it's obvious who's worse. But the thing I wanted to bring up was how you brought up Obama, and I wanted to talk about the Battle of Mosul, which is coming up. And Trump, instead of attacking Clinton about foreign policy, what he does a lot of the times, he attacks Obama's foreign policy, and in that way attacks the Democratic lineage. If Hillary's elected, that she'll just continue what Obama's doing, and they'll continue operating the military as they have. And the biggest amount of criticism is, why have we given them the date? Mosul is an ISIS-controlled capital, in the Iraqi capital. We allowed Putin and Russia to handle Syria. They're taking care of Syria in Aleppo, and we're going to handle Mosul. Those are the two main cities. After we hit Raqqa, the only two cities left are Aleppo and Mosul that are the ISIS forts and strongholds. So the question is, it's in Iraq, and the thing is, northern Iraq. And the thing about it is, we've given them the date. I forgot what the date was, but it's coming up in about a week, maybe in the next week or so. And the attack is, it's a huge thing. We sent over 600 extra soldiers to fight in this giant battle, and it's you know, a lot of people are talking about it. They're going to invade at a certain time, and they've published this. It's been published, so they know when we're coming in. Donald Trump was saying, "Why are you telling them the date? Can't we do a sneak attack so that all the bad guys, all the generals that are over there, don't have enough time to escape?" Because that's what they're going to do in the next few days. They're going to maintain a functioning government, so they're going to move their big chess pieces around and leave all their pawns in those cities to get as many kills as they can before they don't care about dying. You know, those guys are insane. So like they just want to put all their crazy guys in those cities, and they're waiting for us to come. It's like a trap, and we've given them the date. And so Trump is saying if he's president, he would not give them the date. He would sneak attack. Do you think he's right, man? I think he's right. I think you should never give away your date of attack. You know, element of surprise.
That's how fucking Texas won. You know what I mean? They attacked the Texas independence. I mean, they attacked during a siesta and caught them by surprise with their pants down and slaughtered them after losing so many fucking battles, dude. And that's how Texas won its independence. I mean, come on.
Yeah. How do you think we're going to do? Do you think we can take Mosul?
I mean, if you're saying they're sending 600 people, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I didn't think they would hit Raqqa, and they did. And now, you know, I say I don't think they'll take Aleppo back, but they probably will. I think it's going to be Mosul and then Aleppo, and then I don't know after that.
Yeah, but what do you think about Hillary's stance on Putin? Like she'll have some like really, she says, I've dealt with Putin before and something. You know what I mean? Like that's the wrong attitude to have, man.
She's dangerous because the Democrats are very anti-war, especially in the Middle East, to where if Putin's doing something like he is now, intervening in Syria and helping the Assad regime, like if you see Kerry right now, Kerry and Putin have beef. You know, they're beefing right now. So it's dangerous to keep that same system in place. When Hillary comes in, it'll be the same exact thing as Obama's foreign policy. So Putin could, relations could get worse, you know, if Hillary's president.
You know, what's crazy is we only have a month away until we'll know.
Yeah, it snuck up on us. It came fast.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the beauty of the glamorization. You know, this time around, this election is like no other election. It's like a freak show. You know, it's a guy with a reality show, and you know, the former wife of a president, a first lady.
It really isn't. You know what I mean? It's the two candidates that the parties chose. You know what I mean?
Right. But
nobody wanted to vote
in the 1970s, you know, or the 60s, you know, there were like 4 channels on TV. The programming was very different, and nowadays with all this crazy programming and just the way people see certain politicians or celebrities, entrepreneurs, it's different than it was back then. So the people who get nominated nowadays have a high chance of being like someone famous since Reagan came into play, since Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected. So it's very, there are many more, you know, as the years progress and the world becomes more progressive, especially America, we're going to see crazier and crazier types of candidates. It's bound to happen.
You know, Reagan was before Clinton, right? Was it? No, Bush was. Yeah, Bush. See, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know from Clinton back. You know, it was too.
Well, I just know it was Reagan, Bush, and then Clinton, Bush Jr., and then Obama.
See, but as far as where I can remember, where my political understanding went was George Bush Jr. You know, in the second term of George Bush Jr., nobody wanted to vote for either Bush or Kerry. They were both a joke. And then, you know, when Romney, nobody wanted to vote for Romney. You know what I'm saying? McCain and Obama. I mean, Obama was like a rock star. You know what I'm saying? This Martin Luther King type of figure. You know what I mean? That this total playing on the psyche of America.
Well, that was the thing. You needed a black man, a rock star, to be the guy to do gay marriage, to socialize healthcare, so all the poor black people of America and poor Mexicans can have, you know, healthcare for pretty much free coupons, just like they get food stamps. You know, it's just he's fights for the middle wage and lower, you know, average income and lower. That's who he represents in the world. So I mean, it was bound to be that way, and I think we'll see hopefully we'll see a new era. I'm looking forward to the whole entire executive branch red.
Fuck it.
Hey, did you check out Rockets game?
No, but I am a Rockets fan.
They are looking beastly this season. Like in the summer when they were making these pickups, I was thinking in my head, like, that's only if they get along. You know, like, it looks good on paper, but like Ty Lawson last season, or you know, Josh Smith, it looks good on paper, but once they get here and Dwight Howard, you know, once they're playing on the court, are they going to mesh well? And the answer was no, no, no. Every time we brought in free agents, and for the first time, Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, Nene, you know, these guys are just destroying it because they moved Harden to the point guard position. What do you think about that?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm a poser when it comes to sports, dude. Like, I represent the Rockets to the fullest because I love Houston. I love the fucking city. I just love being there. It's so fucking big, and just, it's still in Texas. But like, I don't even know what channel the fucking basketball is on, dude. So
it will, because of Comcast a while back, they acquired it, and then it became Root Sports Southwest. That's the cable network that it airs on. But you know, you can live stream it through Reddit. You know, Reddit NBA streams, and they usually post links up there. The cool thing about it is, like, they've always been a contender. They've always made it to the playoffs in recent years, and James Harden has always been a superstar, but they couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was like, we're doing everything right. We look good on paper, but we can never make it. You know, we made it to the West Conference Finals, but we always got obliterated by Golden State. Like, we did a lot of damage to them, more so than any team, like physically, but they beat us every time. They beat us last year, the year before, and this year we're probably going to face them, you know, if we go to the Western Conference Finals. And the bad thing about it is, if they play the same way, we're going to be just playing the same way they are. That's all the difference is right now. The Rockets they're 3-0. They've had 3 wins straight in the preseason, and Harden is averaging a double-double. Now, for those that don't know what that is, that means he's in double-digit scoring and double-digit assists. So he's basically playing the same position as Steve Nash. He is the new Steve Nash. He is going for the MVP. Coach Mike D'Antoni has given him free reign as a point guard. For the first time, he's playing the point guard position. So he's competing with names like Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, you know, and they're going to be vying for the MVP this year.
how are they looking, like, compared to the Spurs?
Well, the bad thing about the Spurs, they lost their all-star Tim Duncan, who retired. So he's still with the team, I believe. He got offered a coaching job, but the problem is Manu Ginobili is very old. Tony Parker, you know, he's not in his 20s anymore, and the new era with Kawhi Leonard is the new thing. Kawhi Leonard has set the trend that defense is all about body ratio, meaning your wingspan, how long your arms are compared to your body. And Kawhi Leonard has the craziest ratio out of anyone in the NBA. He has like freakishly long arms, which for his height is great for blocking. It's deceptive because you size a person up, and from playing many years, you know how far you have to be from someone at that height on average to be able to make your shot. But with Kawhi, he has freakishly weird ratios, so you're tricked. And he's always going to block your shot. He's always going to have that extra 2-3 inches on you. So that's the neat thing about him. And that's why he has such an MVP-style game of being able to have good offense and defense. And he's also in the talk for MVP. So the Spurs, with their MVP player in Kawhi Leonard, are almost equally matched to the MVP and James Harden. The only difference is we got Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon lighting it up on the 3-point line every game. So as long as they stay healthy, we can definitely destroy the Spurs.
All right. Do you do any sports betting?
In the past, I have, but not right now. Currently, the issue with sports betting right now, it's preseason, so it's really hard to do. But with the NFL, like I'm playing fantasy right now, and in my fantasy football league, I'm not the highest ranked. And the problem with betting on a fantasy league is if I can't even win 100% of the time on my own no money fantasy leagues, then I don't think I can win if I bet on it. So it's I don't think sports betting's for me. In the NBA, yes, I have pretty good odds with NBA picks, but again, the season hasn't started, so we'll have to see if I get my first predictions really well, and then after that, I'll think about it.
See, that's why I wish I knew sports better, is so I could bet like the old school, like if I was in New York, I'm gonna go see the bookie and shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of like it's like that Napoleon Dynamite. You have the nunchuck skills, the computer hacking skills and stuff. You know what I mean? You're like good at sports betting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The best way to do it is to play fantasy, like fantasy on ESPN on the app or whatever, and to play the basket. If you play the NBA fantasy leagues, they provide you with really good stats. It's all really easy to look at, and I do it on a daily basis when I do the NBA fantasy during the season. So when you do that, and then you take what you know from there and apply it to the classic Nevada, Vegas bookie type scenario, you have all your predictions because of the players and knowing how fantasy works, to where you apply that to your picks. It comes up with pretty good odds. If you're good at fantasy basketball or fantasy football, you're usually good at sports betting.
I placed my first bet on the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz fight. I was very close to winning. I got to plug 5dimes.com. That's like, if I got to recommend a site, that's one, because I mean, what did I do? I I bet for Nate Diaz in the second round, and I put $150, and if I would have won, it would have been like $1,125 I won, dude. If 30 more seconds, and I would have won, I swear.
Wow. Amazing. I would never put that much down on a fight. That's crazy. Was that the minimum?
You can put whatever you want, but that's what I put.
Yeah, I was tempted to do Bovado or bet us or whatever, and I ended up going to full flush because at the time I was looking for poker rooms, and I ended up doing full flush. But I really want to get into online sports betting. I think I could handle the NBA pretty well.
Yeah, they have like where you could just say, okay, well, I think that such and such team is going to win, and if they win, it just basically doubles your money. But
that's way better than over under bets. And then yeah, that would work.
I believe they
check that out.
Poker too. Yeah, 5dimes.com, man. It's a good website.
Cool. You want to move on to some new trailers?
Yeah, that'd be cool if we could actually play the motherfuckers, man. Do you think they're copywritten?
Well, I mean, if we're doing a reaction to them, it's actually legal under fair use, because we're creating alternate work that's made for criticism and review.
Yeah.
So it's legal. We can't just put it on the full screen, though. We'd have to like many cam it, screen cap it.
That's a little too complicated.
Yeah, I know. But you could just play it in the background and play the audio if you want.
So I saw the new Power Rangers.
Did you?
Let me just tell you, dude. I think I was all the way up until high school. I watched the fucking Power Rangers, dude.
Same here.
And like when I was a kid, I mean, we used to make fucking the what are they called? The fucking things.
Dino Buckla. Now the morphers
The morphers. We used to fucking get
with the dino coins.
we'd get cardboard, dude, and like put it in the shape, and like my buddy had one, my brother had one, and I had one. We were different Rangers, dude.
Yeah, I actually had the Green Ranger Dino Buckler. Like not when I was a kid, like recently, because I went as the Green Ranger for a Halloween costume, like maybe 5 years ago, to a house party, and I dressed up not as the Green Ranger, but as a human, dressed up as Tommy Oliver, and wearing his classic green cut off tee and what he would wear in the show, and then having the belt buckle like right in the middle.
I remember one of my buddies had the flute. the flute.
The dragon dagger. Yeah, absolutely.
He had the thing, man, and when he brought it out, man, he'd let us like hold it, but not for that long, dude. He's a little fucker.
Hey, you had to protect that thing, man. That was a legendary toy, for its time. It was, it was sensational because it was the first time the show came to America, and it was the first time you saw giant robots fighting on the screen, like a giant dragon zord, like a robot Godzilla, but you can ride it and control it with this dragon dagger flute. So as a kid, when you saw that toy, you're just like, this is the best weapon out of all the Ranger weapons. So you all automatically want it, and they packaged it. I think one of them came in a bundle with the Dragon Zord. So it's, as a kid, you're looking at it, you're like, I want the Dragon Zord, and it comes with the Dragon Dagger. How perfect.
Tommy was bad for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think it was about 5 episodes, but they would like replay them over and over.
And then how did he become the White Ranger?
I think that was when it jumped from like season 1 to season 2, and
they destroyed the Green Ranger, right? They killed him.
But he comes back like mid-season because they're using Die Ranger footage as Die Ranger stock footage from Japan, and that's their next season of Sentai. So we used that footage, and it had a White Ranger, but we didn't use their other Rangers. We kept the Rangers from the previous season, so they had to reshoot American footage called Zayu 2 footage, and that's where they get the Tommy fights, where he's in the White Ranger getup with the sword, the White Tiger's Saba that talks. So that was the jump from 94 to 95, maybe. Yeah, 1994, 95.
It's crazy you know all that shit.
I'm telling you, man, I could canonize the whole series for them and do what they've done, with Star Wars, have a committee that makes sure which stories are canon or not.
You make it bigger than what it is. It's a kid show, but then you the fucking mythological origins of how it should affect you and shit.
And that's why I don't like where they went with this movie trailer or with this new film. I just can't digest it like I did with the first season of the Power Rangers, because that's what it is. It's a remake of the first season of the TV show. It's an origin story of Zach, Trini, Kimberly, Billy, these original Rangers, and Jason, the Red Ranger. So they've switched it around a little. I don't like this. They made the Black Ranger an Asian guy, and they made the Blue Ranger a nerdy black dude.
So what about the that's the identity politic shit that we live in today, but what was I gonna say? What about the old movies that they had? I mean, compared to the old movies, you don't think it's a step up?
Well, I didn't like the old movies as an adult, but I loved them as a kid. Like the first one, especially. The second one after that was a Saban in-house production. It's where they took just a regular film, the seasonal films from Sentai, and used that as their stock footage. And they did shoot a lot of scenes and add it. But the cool thing is the original movie was done by 20th Century Fox with Ivan Ooze. It was a really big production for its time. And for the 90s and early 2000s, that's fine for kids, And if you want to make something for grown-ups, you have to you have to consider the fans. You have to look at what J.J. Abrams did. He didn't change Star Wars too much. You know, he's continuing the old tradition, moving on forward and making it more modern. You know, it's
I
like
didn't like the new Star Wars, dude. I'm sorry.
I didn't like it either. You know, but I could see why they chose him to just reboot it. Like shit's gonna hit the fan in the next one. In episode 8, shit's gonna be like out of this world, like dark and gritty, and because they're getting different directors to do each film. And J.J. Abrams' gift to mankind is he always makes great pilots and he always makes great first movies. Like whatever the first film in his series is, he's really good at setting those. So they brought him in for Star Wars. He did that first little, it's like the DJ that comes in at 9:00 and plays till like 10:30. You know, you set the tone and what is supposed to be in the modern era.
They should have just scrapped the whole movie thing and made it a TV series, you know?
Which one, Star Wars or Power Rangers?
Star Wars.
I mean, they got the what's it called? Well, I would love to see that, like an HBO style. Knights of the Old Republic would be cool. I think that's what a lot of people want. Knights of the Old Republic, you know, back before Vader and Yoda, like when there was the strongest Sith Lord ever. You know, he had power over the galaxy or something like to that end. And the video game is still going on, the MMO. So I think a film about that would be, you know, a lot better. But back to the Power Rangers thing real quick. Like it was made for people like you and the general population, like regular adults who didn't find this nerdy attachment to.
Are you calling me stupid?
No, I'm telling you that the film was made for real.
Are you calling me ordinary?
Well, are you a diehard fan of Power Rangers?
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm not fucking, you know, it's been a while, dude, but like
okay, so here's the thing.
I was in high school. It came on when I was like in the 3rd grade.
Exactly. And in the trailer, the problem I had was they make it like the Disney Dino Thunder. Why would they get superhero powers? They turn into like Superman, basically, like impenetrable. They can jump, you know, do the hero jump and hero landing. You know, that they basically become X-Men. That's retarded because in the first season of Power Rangers in the comics, it's known that they use technology, advanced technology. Alpha is supposed to be from Edenoi, you know, the Mass Rider planet. These aliens built this technology to access the morphing grid, you know, and it's also technology that keeps Zordon alive, even though Zordon got freaking owned and pushed into into another dimension. He's able to survive on this technology as well. So they access the morphing grid, load weapons, load vehicles, Zords. They load anything. It's like the Matrix, you know, when they load up their weapons and clothing. So that's where Power Rangers, in my opinion, should have went, towards the technology, advanced technology, rather than this supernatural gem that gives you powers. They basically turned them all into Juggernaut.
You'd have to have some superpowers to fight, you know, super villains, you know.
Then what's the point of morphing? What's the point of taking martial arts and practicing every day? Why would 5 teenagers know martial arts? Because you need it. If you're just super strong, you don't need to know martial arts. You can just like flick people around and like there's no need to even fight putties if you're that strong. You just like, I don't know.
So basically you're kind of saying that we're going to see in the, you know, movie number 2, these guys start to develop unique superhero powers that that are way different than, you know, some dude with fire and some guy with ice and the fucking laser beams coming out of his eyes.
Yeah, I don't want that. Wait, what was your question again? Sorry.
They're going to develop a unique superpowers that kind of is going to be a gimmick to, you know, the Avengers. You know, they're going to have, you know, how one guy can throw flames, the other guy can fucking has laser beams, the other guy's like telekinetic and shit.
Yeah, that would be horrible. because that would be Dino Thunder. That would be like one of the worst seasons in my opinion. And I don't want that because it's treading on canon. What's real and what's not. I want it to be canon. That's my thing. Like I want it to some like not just canon, but I want it to be an adaptation of the original series, but like in its own world, kind of how DC has all those CW shows like The Flash and Green Arrow and Supergirl, but you know, in the movie world, they have their films. So I want it to be like that, to where the Power Rangers TV show is it's in its own world, and then they have the films, and they're both considered canon. Not like how it was in the past, where certain companies would just get a license to do whatever the hell they wanted to the story, and then that's that. And they get their money and move on with it. So I want them to mesh well, and all like you know be based on the comics and be based on the original writing.
You might have to wait till the second trailer comes out, because there wasn't really much action.
Dude, like they're all it's the freaking Breakfast Club. It's not the Power Rangers. They're a bunch of depressed emo teens that are in detention or Saturday school, right? Like they're all bad. They're all like depressed, messed up teen angst. You know, I don't like the idea. I think that you know even the Rita assaulting a young teenager in her bedroom. You know, that's supposed to be a sanctuary for teens. This isn't Freddy Krueger. You're not supposed to get attacked by a demon-looking witch. And that's another thing. Why is Rita young and hot?
She looked pretty hot to me, man.
Why do they do that? That ruins it. She's supposed to be like an old witch, and you're supposed to have like maybe flashbacks to like a scene where her and Zordon are young, but you know she's supposed to be this old crazy witch who eventually becomes good. But that's not, you know, she and they made her green and reptilian. So obviously she has the power of the dragon coin.
Yeah, I just started getting flashbacks of the old Rita. I remember they had the dub her voice and stuff. I didn't know that she was from a different, you know.
Yeah, that she's a famous actress. She's been in a lot of seasons of Power Rangers in the Japanese, but in the canon of Power Rangers, when she becomes good, she becomes the mother goddess, or she becomes in Power Rangers Mystic Force. Power Rangers Mystic Force, a Disney production, features her again, but she comes back as a good guy.
It's interesting.
Yeah, the Mystic Mother, and they also dub her voice in that one, I think.
Here's a side. Maybe I don't want to take away from
she recently passed away though, but so rest in peace. But yeah, so you said you wanted to talk about Halloween.
Test. No, I wanted to talk about one thing. What do you think they have not made a Zelda movie yet?
Ooh, they've done a lot of fan trailers. I remember back when IGN made a fan trailer, people were pissed that it wasn't a movie. I think they haven't done it because Nintendo is like the worst company to license from, I heard. Nintendo is all about appealing to the average consumer and, you know, to appeal to the young crowd. And they never want to tarnish their name. And the thing of the Japanese, anime is considered an art in its own, right? Like people who make animes and comics, manga and anime, it's their craft. Like they don't want someone to make a live action film about it. That's how a lot of these artists feel that create these comics. They feel that it's their art form, and when you make a live action motion picture, that's something way different, you know, and they're very stingy with that license. So you know, that's one reason why Nintendo doesn't really want to make its games, its video games, its films. A lot of these video game companies feel that all that material, the creation of the character, all the storyline is part of their game. And if they give it to a film for some American film company to do whatever they want with the story and actors, that someone's like pretty much stealing their art. And it, you know, the price that they want is never a price that a film company would ever offer. That would cost millions just for the license.
Yeah, but it'd be such a great, you know, I don't know, dude. Like I'd be super freaked out about it. Like I'd love to see that, you know, because it's such an amazing story.
Well, it would depend on, you know, who made it. who got to do it, the producer and the director and writer. If you gave it to someone, the team from Game of Thrones, for instance, or Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, you can get something real good out of it. So as long as they find the right people who have experience in those types of fantasy films, it's a really good idea.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I mean, you say Lord of the Rings. I wouldn't want Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? I would want like Game of Thrones. There's no CGI. I mean, the only time there's CGI is the fucking her dragons and shit. You know what I mean? Her flying around in her dragons. But I mean, I would. They would have to like do it like totally right. It couldn't be like Mortal Kombat movies. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't knock the original Mortal Kombat. That shit was dope.
Fuck no, it's not, dude. That's fucking trash.
The first one?
Yeah, it's fucking garbage.
Oh man, you tripping? Have you seen Mortal Kombat Legacy on YouTube, the web series?
I've seen that. I think you showed me it.
They have like 2 seasons of it. It's pretty good.
It's all right. It's different.
I mean, the storyline's great. I think that it makes for a good film story.
I mean, do you remember playing the Ocarina of Time, dude?
I remember watching one of my best friends, from middle school and high school, elementary, in my frat or whatnot. He would play it every day when I'd go to his house and chill. And then I watched him play through it pretty much.
Dude, I played that whole game. The only time that I didn't play it, my brother, I fell asleep and my brother did like the second to the last level. You know what I mean? And then I couldn't get past it. And then I woke up and he was like past it. And I didn't really care because I couldn't get past it. I wanted to finish it. But,
did you ever play on Game Boy or NES?
Of course I played the NES. I mean, when you got the better swords and the flutes and shit, that shit was tight, dude. But the main thing I liked is there was a cartoon. Remember there was like a Super Mario Brothers show with like Lou the wrestler, Captain Lou, I think that was his name was. And like on the Fridays it was Legend of Zelda, and I couldn't wait to be a part, like to see it.
Do you play Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah, I played Super Smash Brothers. That shit goes off.
Yeah, Link is pretty interesting character. I know a lot of people, in the circles that I play, when I play competitively, a lot of players use Link and Young Link.
Yeah, the thing that I liked the most is he had his little pouch, his little satchel, right? And like inside the satchel there was like bombs, and they were like real small.
Bombs.
They're real small and then they get big. You know what I mean? And
they get bigger and bigger as you hold it.
Yeah, that shit was tight. I mean, if they could do it like perfectly, don't make Link a girl. You know what I'm saying? I heard something about that.
Well, Zelda's supposed to be the girl, right?
Yeah, Zelda's supposed to be the girl, not Link. He's some fucking what are they called? What's that called? Androgynous fucking queer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the question mark. But I play Zelda in Melee in Project M, or is it Zelda and Sheik? She transforms into Sheik. So that's my A character. Also play NES, especially in the 64 version. And I've been wanting to play online for a long time. We play on emulators, but yeah, hopefully I'll get my 64 emulator set up online soon. Have you seen that stuff? All the emulators, even Mugen, it's all online, lagless, free. They even have GoldenEye 007 online, lagless, free, remade in HD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're living in great times, man.
I saw the HD GoldenEye, but I didn't know they put everything else like updated or something.
I mean, you could play online, and nowadays, if you have good internet connect, like our type of internet connection, it's lagless. Like I play tons of arcade games.
Playing GoldenEye, like GoldenEye online.
Yeah, man, like Counter-Strike or something, But back then, when you're playing on 64, you're like, man, the max you can do is 4 players, or go to like a big land or a tournament where everyone's set up in their own. But nowadays, you could play from the comfort of your home and just play a whole bunch of different people. So
Wow.
that's the cool thing, man. I'm real excited about all that. That's the only way I get practice nowadays.
You know what my favorite game for the NES was? It was the Nightmare on Elm Street game.
Never played it, and I don't, and I know why.
It was a badass game, dude. Like you could, like you get these superpowers. You could turn into a wizard and a ninja.
Dude, that's my favorite part of the films. Like Dream Warrior, when the wizard guy, the guy in the wheelchair.
They were so 80s. That's what was so tight about them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Kincaid, Kincaid was a superhero. Like he was super strength. He could break through the walls.
Okay, dude. But like, I remember when like just going to the movie theater, and then there would be like a trailer for the new Nightmare on Elm Street, and you'd be like, yes, you know what I'm saying?
My mom was really strict on me when I was a little kid. I couldn't watch those, and my dad would watch them with me. And my dad wouldn't care; he would let me watch them. And even still to this day, I watch horror films with my dad, dude. It's like a pastime. We watched the newest ones too. Have you seen like what do you think about Freddy versus Jason?
Trash.
Oh, I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
Nah, man. 3, 4, and 5 were my favorite. They're so 80s.
Yeah, I like those. I think it was like 3 or 4 that was my favorite. The Dream Warriors I liked, or the 2 with Kincaid in it.
Yeah, 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4, definitely.
That's good shit. I actually saw the last one, the final Nightmare, and where they have the 3D glasses. I actually saw that in the theater, and that shit was crazy with the fucking 3D glasses, dude.
Final Nightmare is where the dream gods, the dream demons.
Yeah. And then
and like his face comes out and explodes, but you wear the 3D glasses and the face comes out and explodes many times at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
It comes out in the center. Like, yeah, I remember that.
Those little demons are like flying in front of you. And shit.
Yeah, those 3 skulls. Yeah, I remember that vividly.
Shit was scary, dude.
Yeah, that's high up there on the list of traumatizing moments in childhood.
There's really not movies like that, dude, where you have a fictional character that comes back to life from hell and shit, traumatizing people. I mean, they do it, but it's real cheesy. I mean, there's no like, I don't know.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the recent horror films. I seen The Conjuring 2. I liked it. It was fun watch.
Well, that brings us to the last thing is Halloween. I've been since October started. Maybe it's something in the air or something. Like I've just been trying to kind of freak myself out on just trying to get in the spirit of Halloween. I've been trying to spook myself a little bit, and I was able to, man. And I think this would be a good type of movie. What is it? To create a script around it is on talking about the deep web. They have these things called creepypastas, and they're basically like scary.
Oh man, creepypasta! I love binging on those. Just late night binge on the best creepypastas you can find.
Dude, I'd like freak myself out with that shit, dude.
What's your favorite one so far?
Oh, they're all kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? The Red Room type of stuff. Where the Red Room is like where you're watching somebody get murdered, and you can like type in the text like in the chat and tell them what to do and stuff like that. And what's crazy, dude, is that shit's for real, dude. You know what I mean? That shit is fucking for real.
Yep. The deep web is a dark place, man. It's a dark place.
I was thinking of like the type of material like you could get like how to do like an operation. You know what I'm saying? Like how to like do brain surgery. You know what I mean? Like just reading some of that stuff.
There was I ended up going on there because I was looking at forged diplomas, or like, you know, for people who lost theirs that don't want to go through the process, or, you know, people who want to use theirs but instead of bachelor's put like masters on it, you know, or something. So it's, I was looking at it for that, and then, you know, I found, you know, Silk Roads, and that place is like crazy, just crazy. No thank you, no thank you. They have like stuff on all that psyop stuff, you know, but they have like the for real, like old school set, like all the band pamphlets and stuff, military leaks for military pamphlets, and just crazy scans that you wouldn't really find anywhere.
Like the MK Ultra type stuff where the babies are bred to be given to the government for, you know, the purposes of their research and stuff like that, kind of like Stranger Things.
Yeah, and like, you know, in the Ramsey case, the John Benet Ramsey case, there was like a there was something about it where they found, I think, taser marks, burn marks on her body or something, and one person, there was a big theory going around. I saw in some YouTube videos that that's a big part of like CIA programming or torturing, like how to train slaves with the taser gun. And there was actually a banned pamphlet, Illuminati pamphlet, about creating a sex slave out of children or minors with a taser gun. And this actually was talked about by a YouTuber. And when I first heard it, I was like, that's bullshit. You know, CIA is not going to have a book that's, you know, or you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really believe it at first. And then when I was looking at banned books and pamphlets and Illuminati stuff on the deep web, I came across it. I said, oh my God, this is the John Benet Ramsey case pamphlet. This is the one that they're talking about.
You think you can get like books that like you know, on the like the fucking scary satanic books with like the fucking medallions and shit and creepy engravings and stuff like that?
You can get those off of eBay. A lot of people are because they're not black market auctions. It's just private owner. A lot of them are privately owned.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I've been doing.
You're talking about grimoires. Grimoires, yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck they're called. I'm just saying, like, you know,
Solomon's seals, like Solomon's books for summoning demons and spells and black magic. Yeah,
just to have it, man. It's a fucking, you know.
They're legendary ones. I told you about it, right? Like there was one that was written on human skin, or it's a legendary book that's written on human skin, and the tale is like some monk or something was sentenced to die, so he while he was in prison, he sold his soul to the devil, and the devil like took over his body and wrote that book or something.
Well, that's one thing that you can get on the deep web is like wallets made out of human skin and fucking belts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, man. I don't know about all that. That's not like Halloween in my head. That's like some crazy real shit that happens all the time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and they're like cannibals and shit. Like, you know, like allow like making agreements to like let people eat you and stuff like that, and meeting up with them.
It's like yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't happen all the time, but you know,
it's like the purge, you know, just selling your body so that your family can be better off. Crazy Illuminati shit.
I started listening to that shit for like, I think 2 nights at work.
Oh, you listen to the YouTube creepypastas?
Yeah. What other ones are there?
I mean, creepypasta is originally a website that's like a forum or a message board where people post like the best campfire stories or the best scary stories, and the moderators basically for the site they select the ones and the best ones, and they put them on there, and they got so much that they had to stop accepting them for the season, and like they post and update them, and yeah, like my favorite ones are like the sleep experiment, the Russian sleep experiment. And then the other one was like the Mickey Mouse, the abandoned theme park. Man, there's a lot of good ones, bro. They're really fucking scary. I want to make a film about them. I actually talked about this with someone yesterday. I said we need to make a couple creepypasta films. We have to do the sleep experiment.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that would be fucking great, dude. I mean, that's like Hostile. The Hostel was a great movie.
You gotta read or watch the audio of the sleep experiment creepypasta. It's crazy, bro. It's like the Russians, like during the Cold War or something, try to do an experiment to see how long the humans can go without sleep, or what happens when humans are deprived of sleep, and they put them in a room that pumps the gas that with a stimulant that keeps them awake forever or for as long as they can, for days, and like crazy shit happens. It's a really good read, man.
That's the one you want to make.
Yeah, I really like that one. I think that one could be cheap to make. And then there was one about like a cave.
I like the ones on the Red Room. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy and his friend, they get on the deep web and fucking they accidentally get a link, and a timer comes down, and then there's a the type of like eyes wide shut satanic ritual happening in front of them. You know what I mean? And that's where we're listening to these stories just led me down to satanic, because satanic people, Satanism is all about death. You know what I mean? And killing. You know what I'm saying? And
That's why they call it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It has all the rituals that we're talking about: cannibalism, human sacrifice, blood, piss, poop, all that weird stuff, all the sexual abuse stuff. All that's in the Book of the Dead, man.
Yeah, man. But I think that would be a good movie. Is like, they're like, all of a sudden their screen fucking goes black, and they start, like, I don't know. You'd have to really make a really original one. You know what I'm saying? And then how they end up in the fucking in that room. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That make a like kind of like Saw or torture porn type setting where or Hostel. Have you seen Martyrs?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, you failed at life. What was wrong with you? That's the movie you have to watch.
What is it about?
Like what we're talking about, a clan, like in the first opening scene is a girl just running, like as if a serial killer has been keeping her for like years or something. She's running and escaping, and then it's about the story of someone basically escaping all that abuse and torture, and the story is about someone else who ends up in that position. No, after knowing about that someone escaped it and finding out about it and not really believing it's true, she ends up in that position, and it shows her like in like a cult that captures people and keeps them imprisoned under like seemingly normal houses, like somewhere in Europe or something. And it's fucking crazy, bro. It's a really good film because it shows all the rituals in it. It was originally a foreign film or whatever, but it won awards, like worldwide awards.
I think that would be well.
You'll be scared shitless watching it, bro. Like it'll make you cringe like so bad, so hard.
I was in a zone listening to that shit. I mean, I was in the Halloween spirit. You know what I mean? And then it led me into like trying to just videos about satanic rituals, and it made me understand a lot of things of why God isn't present in our day, is because we're basically all Satanists, and no matter what, a majority of people are fucking Satanists. They're fucking out killing each other, and they don't care about taking lives. And no matter if you fucking bleed somebody to death or you shoot them point blank in the face, it's all the same, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Latin culture. They have the Santa Muerte, the Grim Reaper. who a lot of gangsters pray to, or they have the black candles even at the dollar store. You know about the black candles, right?
Yeah, the Black Candle.
Yeah, Santa Muerte, man, it's scary. It's like a worldwide phenomenon. It's everywhere in every culture. There's always a death cult. Here at Yale, Skull and Bones, the Order of Death, Hitler and the Thule Society, the Thule Society. It's a lot of it's just like it's everywhere ever since like Babylon, since ancient times, and it's always going to be there. And that's kind of like always the fight. You got to have the darkness and the light.
Yeah.
But yeah, some good Halloween movies to watch. Like Martyrs is more of like an Illuminati movie, like very crazy occult movie. Um, and the other films I've seen recently, Spring was good. That's more of like it's very weird. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's called Spring. That's another award-winning film. There's It Follows. It Follows. It's a pretty good horror film.
I've seen that one.
You didn't like it?
It's cheese, dude.
Where through sexual intercourse the demon transfers to you?
Fucking cheese, dude.
Yeah, but you didn't like the concept of it just follows you until it gets to you. It just slowly walks after you forever.
No. Fuck no.
You have to put yourself in the thing about horror films is you have to put yourself in the shoes of the victim. Whoever the victim is on screen, you have to think like, damn, what would I do if I was in his position? How would I not die? That's the thing about horror films. Whenever I read scripts or watch films, and it follows, it's like, oh man, go get in the car and just take off and just go, and then you have a scene where they do that. And it's like, just keep going. Don't sleep.
You're telling me to watch Martyrs, and then you bring up It Follows. Come on, man.
No, they're in different categories, man. Martyrs is an occult, like scary torture porn type film. It Follows is more like a festival, like a indie film festival type film. Spring, It Follows. Same with The Babadook. Have you seen The Babadook? That's another foreign film, Australian film. It's pretty good.
You know what it reminded me of? A lot of it was like 8mm. You know what I'm saying? And in 8mm, there's like, oh, it was all, snuff film is a myth. You know what I'm saying? But this says contrary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, snuff films exist. Everyone knows that because like the FBI and police departments have tons of them, of just like people killing people on camera.
Easy is that people get away with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, serial killers have made snuff films, and the FBI has them. And there's been just suppression. The media wants you to think that there's no possible way that you'll watch a movie or a TV show or anything that's on camera, and none of it, because everything's regulated, FCC and all that. So there's no way that any of that will be seen by a person. Like they're like, no, snuff films don't exist. There's no way you could see one.
You remember in 7 when they finally like go to Kevin Spacey's lair, and it's like how he sleeps is just like not even a single bed or single mattress. It's just like a little line, like a fucking vampire would sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the most famous snuff film that probably exists in our modern times is the Bruce Lee footage of Bruce Lee's son. And Bruce, I don't know, did Bruce Lee die on camera? But a lot of time, even John Ritter, I don't know if the camera was rolling, but anyone who dies on the set of a film when the camera is rolling, that's if it was plotted. Like a lot of people think that what's Brandon Lee, right? The guy in The Crow. Yeah, in The Crow, I know the film was rolling and they were instructed to destroy the film. Man, I know they made a copy. Come on, dude. If you had the footage of Brandon Lee getting shot and you were the one that framed him, or like a serial killer or a hitman like that, they would definitely keep the film. But yeah, that's a snuff film. If it was a conspiracy and someone did load the weapon in that certain way on purpose, then yeah, it would be counted as a snuff film if someone still had it today that set them up.
That was such a good movie for like a classic movie for so many people. You know what I mean? The Crow.
Yeah, It even, yeah, it captured the whole emo generation, and it caught all the regular people as well because it's Bruce Lee's son. And then, it's that dark, gritty movie that came out like way before its time, way before gritty movies were cool.
Well, it's been, I think, close to 2 hours. Not really that long, but to all the people that have tuned in or will tune in, of course, this is the Above Limits podcast. Uh, always subscribe to our channel if you're entertained by anything we're saying, and hopefully you are. That's pretty much it, man. Just subscribe to the channel. I mean, that's all we can really ask. If you want to thumbs us up, you can thumbs us up. If you want to check out our social networks, feel free to do that also. But more content to come, more talk and discussion, and become a Patreon member so we can that's one of the perks that we have, is to maybe sit in on us. I mean, of course, we most likely if you contact us, we'll be like, yeah, you want to really talk with us, we'll let you come talk with us. But that's one of our Patreon perks, is to come and be a part of the conversation. And you're a paying person, so most likely you're not going to be a troll. So you have anything else you want to say, Sid?
Sure. Just if you haven't already checked it out, check out our interview with Ryan Dawson. Also check out our special guest Phantom in the last video. Make sure to subscribe so that you can get our newest videos when they drop.
All righty. This has been the Above Limits podcast with Olympus Spawns and Sinbad.